Hello, friends. Welcome to Coding Garden. Welcome to a stream where we're going to be playing Clash of Code with viewers and also solving CodeWars code katas. So it's been a while since we've done any sort of code kata style stream, so this is going to be a fun one. And I think we're just going to jump right into it. Let's just solve some katas. Let's do a speed run to get warmed up, and then we'll play Clash of Code. So if you haven't heard of Clash of Code, basically we're all dropped into a room where we try to solve the same problem all at the same time. So in probably like 10 minutes, we're going to play this. So if you want to go sign up on their website, do that now. But in the meantime, let's do a speed run. I'm going to sort CodeWars code katas by most completed. Okay, let's vote on it then. Do you want to see me do 1 6Q, or do you want to see me do like 6 7Qs? We'll vote on it. What do you want to see? Potentially 2 6Qs. I mean, 6Qs can get hard. Oh, yes on either. So like we'll say roughly 5. Where's the tilde on this keyboard? Over here. Roughly 5. 7Q, or roughly 2 6Q. It could be 1. So this is difficulty. So 7 is going to be easier than 6. You have a minute to vote. Here we go. Well, welcome in, everybody. Good to see you. How you doing? How's your week so far? It's the middle of the week. I'm doing all right. I've been coding on some stuff for the channel. Mainly not exactly coding, figuring things out, weighing my options. I've solved like 2 or 3 1Qs, but they took me days to solve. Hey, what's up, Finite Singularity? Bon Jovi Day? I see. But welcome in. It looks like 2 6Qs is the winner. It would appear that we have more experienced programmers in the chat than beginner programmers. I guess I can't assume that based on how you voted, but there's something on my shirt. Dog hair? Okay, 2 6Qs. Here we go. So I sorted by most completed. For difficulty, I'm going to do 6Q. Like I said, so if you're new to CodeWars, these are the difficulty of the problem. So 8Q is going to be the easiest, and then 1Q is going to be the hardest. Like I said, I've only solved like 2 or 3 1Qs in my life, and they took me multiple days. So let's see if we can get 2 6Qs in. So I'm going to sort by most completed, and I'm also going to sort by katas I have not trained on. So these will be problems I've never seen before. And I'll do my best. Rectangle into squares. This sounds hard. What is this? Yeah, I want to just ignore this one. I don't ever want to try to solve this one ever. Unless... I wonder if there's a way to an ignore one. I think if I do this... No. Now it won't show up under katas that I haven't trained on. Good. All right, I guess we can try to turn this into a YouTube video. So let's do it. Hello, friends. Welcome to Coding Garden. In this video, I'm going to attempt to solve as many 6Q CodeWars code katas as possible. With no time frame, just whenever I feel like I'm done solving them. So if you're not familiar with it, CodeWars.com has a lot of user-submitted problems that you can solve, and they range in difficulty, all the way from 8Q, which is the easiest, and 1Q, which is the hardest. So we're going to do 6Q, which is like right in the middle. Here we go. This problem's called sum of parts. Let us consider this example. We have an array with numbers. Its following parts are that. Okay, the corresponding sums are 20, 20, 19, 16, 10, and 0. I see. So basically, we need to create, we need to get the sum of every sub-array within the array. And so we return an array of sums of the subarrays. Is that what this is asking? We can look in the test here to see the examples. So, yeah. Yeah, that's it. All right, so here's what we got to do. We need to iterate, and each time we call this function, we're going to remove one and do the sum. So let's just create a generalized sum function that takes in an array, so we can reuse this. But this just does array.reduce, and it takes in each, well, it has the total sum, it takes in each value, returns sum plus value, and starts off at 0. So we've got a nice little sum function, and now I want to map for every value in the array, I guess. I think that should actually work if I do a map, because if I do a map here, and then I just, I get access to the value and the index, then I can, based on the index, change the length of the array and call sum, right? So if I return this array, and I do a slice from 0 up to length minus the index, that'll give me a copy of the array that goes from 0 to the end of the array. Index minus 1? And then I want to sum that whole thing together. That's it. First try. Dang. Expected array to deeply equal 0. So wait. You're telling me that I need to return... Oh, when the sum is 0, I need to return an array of... Okay, I think... Check it out. I think we're almost there, but we're returning... Yeah, we're returning the empty array. So actually, okay, before I debug it, maybe we can do this. So we can say... the subarray is this, and if the subarray length is 0, then we return an array that has the sum of 0. Otherwise, we sum the subarray. Is that what we want? Okay, second try. All right, let's debug this then. So I'm actually going to store the result here, and then log the result out before we return it. Just to see what we're calculating, because I think we're close. Oh, no. Yeah. Yeah. I need to return 0. Not an array of 0. Okay, so I see. I think it's just failing in the case where the input array length is 0. Because then the map doesn't even happen. That's all. So if result.length, I need to check for this down here. If there was no array to map over, return an array with 0 inside of it. Or not. I'm trying to do this as fast as possible, and it's not working out. It is absolutely not working out. Oh, does it want me to go in reverse? It wants me to go in reverse. Okay, this is the worst. I realize my code looks ugly right now, but are there TypeScript katas? Yeah, we could solve it with TypeScript. In the explanation, it was the other way. Okay, so okay, I'm rushing because I want to just like solve this as fast as possible, but let's think through what this thing is asking us. So, given this array, oh, I'm doing it in the wrong order. I'm pulling the last one off. I need to pull the first one off. So my slice is wrong. My slice needs to go from index to length minus 1. And I can just leave off index in this case. That was the issue. I was slicing in the wrong order. Okay. Expected 10, 6. Oh, and then we don't need to reverse anymore now that we're doing it in the right order. Okay, we're not, so expected 20, 20, 19, 16 to equal 20, 20, 19, 16, 10, 0. I just need to push 0 into it every time? How did that cause an infinite loop by pushing a 0 into it? Okay. I broke it. Execution timeout. My basic tests pass, so that's good. The basic tests pass. Man, you know. Okay. 0, 1, 2, 3. Yeah. I mean, this technically should return 0 for the subarray sum. Slicing during a map is slow. Well, basically, I'm only using the map because I need to return a new array that's the same length as the input array. I'm copying or creating a copy. I guess technically, yeah, I think somebody mentioned it. If I mutate the array, then I don't even need to. But then you wouldn't want to mutate during a map, though. Because you could mutate the array by removing the first one on each iteration. All right, let's think about this. So if I do a slice with index 0, that's going to give me a copy of the input array. Great. We then sum that. That's going to show up in the map with the sum. Same. Here, same thing. And then when we get to like, let's see what happens when I do a slice on an array of length. So if I have like 1, 2, 3, and I say slice with 2, 0, 1, 2, that gives me an array of length 1. So that would be this scenario. And then the map would be done. So really, we do want to push 0 here. We always want to push 0. And honestly, if the timeout happens again, then it's probably because I'm using way too much memory. Because if I were to do an unshift and I were to use a for loop instead of a map, then it would be much faster. But if this doesn't work, so this passes for the basic test, but it times out, which means we need to rewrite this without a map. So that's fine. So in this case, it's going to be a little bit easier. So we'll have result that starts as an array. Instead of a map, we'll have a for loop where the index goes from 0 up to the length. So while index is less than length, index plus plus. Now, instead of doing this sub-array thing, we do this. We don't return it. We push it into result. And now we don't have the subarray. We just pass in ls. But then after each sum, we remove the first value in the array, which is going to be shift. Do we still need to push 0? Maybe. 2020, 19. Length plus 1? (2020-19) to deeply equal 2020-19 1610 0. Is shift the right thing? Shift removes the first element from an array and returns that removed element. Great. Mutating the length doesn't, because this check is going to happen on each iteration. I mean, at this point, we could just turn it into a while loop. While ls has a length. So, and then I think we would need to push in. And we could do something like this. Start the array off at 0, and instead of pushing, we push. Yeah, and then we push right before we return 0, I think. It's timing out again. All right, so it passes for the basic tests. For the random test, it's just timing out. What am I doing here that would require way too much work? I guess that's a good point, Nishark, and I think we're going to have to solve it that way. We're going to have to solve it that way. Because basically we're recalculating the sum every time when we actually just need to subtract the previous value that was removed. Yeah, so here's what we'll do. We'll sum the whole array. So total sum. That's just going to be this. I'm not even going to put it in a separate function now. So we sum the whole array first, and then we never have to calculate the sum again because we will push in, and Stony Eagle, thank you for that gift. And actually, there's more people I need to thank. Yeah, a lot. Sana, thank you for the resub. Balanek, thank you for the reseg. CF Steen, thank you for the resub. Mazda, thank you for the resub. Ashley, thank you for the resub. Wait, this is all yesterday. The She-Boss, thank you for the 2 gifted. Sedla Pingwam, thank you for the resub. And Sej M, thank you for the resub. But I'm about to solve this. I'm about to solve this. We're gonna do a prediction because I figured it out. I figured it out, and we're gonna say, can I do it? Will it work on the next submission? And Stony, thank you for the gift as well. Yes. No. So basically, the next time I click this attempt button, is it gonna work? Predict now. This is how I lose all my points. This is it. This is it. So we calculate the whole sum first, and then we just start subtracting from that sum. Easy. 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 So, I mean, some people don't have faith. It's okay, though. This is not going to be a YouTube video, by the way. It's way too messy. It's way too messy. All right, here we go. Watch me. Okay, so now that I have, and I'm going to call this the current sum. So now that I have the current sum, I will say result.push the current sum. We then get the first value from the array, or let's call it the next value. And we will say current sum subtract the next value. We'll do it all in line like this. And then we keep going. And then at the end of it all, we push in 0 because the sum would be 0. All right, here it is. Why is it timing out? Why is it timing out? Is it because we're doing a push? Like, what about this would be not performant? So here's the thing. We're passing for basic tests. Like, our code is good, but it's failing for the random tests. I'm going to wait to pay out because I think CodeWars is broken. I think their server is broken. Let's wait for me to solve it. If I have to change my code from this in any way, anybody that voted no gets points. You're gonna get your points. But here's what I'm curious about: are we timing out on calculating the sum? Because even like shift is O of n. Really? Really? I guess that makes sense because it has to copy the array. All right. Okay. If that's the case, I know how to fix it, but I didn't do it. I didn't do it. So...
Cheer 5,000.
No, David. That's so many bits. Thank you. You're too kind. You're way too kind. What's that for? Why'd you do that? All right, it didn't work on the next commit, but if Joj is correct in that that shift is an O of N operation, that means we have an O of N operation inside of our loop, and we don't want that. So really, all we need is the current index, and then we just access that index instead of removing it from the array. That's it. That's it. That's all we got to do. And SQL Gordster, thank you for the no. Stony, thank you for the gift. Oh wait, is it because we're in a hype train? Is that why you're giving me all this money? Thank you, David. Now, while index is less than result.length, on each iteration, we'll increment the index. And David, thanks for the bits. Even more bits. I meant to do it during the support drive stream because I really appreciate that you don't have sponsors. Thank you, David. I do appreciate that. That's fantastic. Thank you. Thank you. And then now this is just going to be result at index. Not result, ls at index. And yes, ls.length. Yeah. Thank you for all the support. I appreciate that. I'm over here struggling with the code and David's dropping 5,000 bits. Thank you. And Stony for the gifts. No, multiple gifts. I think I missed those. Thank you for the gift to Shaki as well. And Hugo, thank you for being a GitHub sponsor. I saw your tweet. Thank you so much. All right, this is it. This is the code. So let's review. Let's review, but then we're gonna do it. So, well, no. So basically the first sum, the first one in the array, and trailer trash. Thank you for the prime. Appreciate that. Yeah, I think you're right. Convergent sequence. Like we technically could go in from this direction to the beginning and then just gradually add. So basically calculate the sum as we go instead of calculating the sum first and then subtracting from that sum. So but the thing is, this is still just 2 iterations. It's not nested iteration. So this should perform better. I think it's going to work. It didn't work. No, it worked. It worked. Okay. But yeah, you're totally right, convergent sequence. That probably is the smarter way to do it because basically you can sum it up as you go, but we solved it. Ultimately, I think it broke a couple of times because of the timeout, but I thought my code was broken. So the solution there got really messy. But yeah. Yeah, we did it. We solved it. Should I solve it again with a single loop? Who wants to see it in who wants to see it in a single loop or see me solve a completely different problem? Let's do a poll. Again with single loop. A different one. Vote down. Can I explain the subtraction? Yes. So basically calculate the sum first. By calculating the sum, that's going to give us this value right here. Boom. And then we take the first one in the array, which is 0, and we subtract that from there, which gives us our next sum. And so that next one is the sum of all of these. And then we take result at 0, which is 1, and we subtract it. That gives us our next sum. And then we take result at, which is 3, and subtract it from 19. That gives us our next sum. And then same thing here. Yeah, so basically we're subtracting this from the running total. But you technically could do it in a single iteration. Yeah, most people want to see it in another one. You believe me, I could solve it in a single loop, right? Right? Here's what we'll do. We'll look at other people's solutions because someone is bound to have solved it in a single loop. Yeah, I do like this kata though. Yeah, so I think overwhelmingly people are like, move on. Let's see another one. Part sums. Unshift 0. What? Oh, okay, I guess they did the same thing. They calculated the sum. So, first off, calculate the sum. Then, for every value in the array, um, take the sum and minus the value. So the reason that they unshift 0 is so that the resulting array from a map is the correct length. Whew, that was tricky to figure out. All right. Create an array of length 1, but the first value is 0. Iterate from the end to the beginning. So at the end, you know what? I refuse to read code that has single letter variables. That's it. I refuse. I refuse. It takes way too much brain power. All right, let's pick another one. Reverse or rotate. The input is a string. I guess technically I wanted to show you one. They did it. Here's the thing. That last one that I was looking at, they did it in a single loop. But take the value at the end, add it on to the current one, put it into the result array. Also, they don't have curly braces on their for loop. I'm done. I can't. Okay. This problem says the input is a string of digits. Cut the string into chunks of size SZ. If a chunk represents an integer such as the sum of the cubes of its digits is divisible by 2, reverse the chunk. Otherwise, rotate it to the left by 1 position. Put together these modified chunks and return the result as a string. Okay, so for example, they give us this and the number 6. So what are our inputs? A string of digits and a size. So this is the string of digits and our size is 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We shift the 1 to the end, and then for the next sequence of 6 digits, we shift the 9 to the end. If a chunk represents an integer, such as the sum of the cubes of its digits is divisible by 2, reverse that chunk. Otherwise, rotate it to the left by 1 position. Okay, well, let me pick like 2 and then we'll vote on this. Like, this seems doable. It also just seems ridiculous. Like, why would I ever want to do this? Maybe this has something to do with encryption? But it's weird. But basically, we could do it. Basically, we're looking at size chunks, and for each chunk we calculate the sum of all the digits. If the sum is divisible by 2, reverse it in the result. If the sum is not divisible by 2, take the first value and put it on the end, and do that for every single one in the input. Let's see. Find it, the ice wing. What do you got? Is it a 6Q? Implement a function that behaves like the unique command in Unix. It takes as input a sequence and returns a sequence in which all duplicate elements following each other have been reduced to 1 instance. Oh, that sounds fun. So you're given an array that has duplicates, and then when we encounter AA, we only give 1 of them, and we encounter BB, we only give 1 of them, etc. So like we're moving right along. All right, and then I mean, this one says encrypt this. Let's see what they want us to do. I want to create a secret message which can be deciphered by the decipher this kata. Wait, does that... I don't want to look at another kata. I'm doing it all in JavaScript, but how about this? After I complete this one, we'll play a game of Clash of Code, and then I'll solve a kata in a random programming language that is not JavaScript. But yeah, for right now, I'm using JavaScript because it is what I know the best. I know other things too. All right. A stream of data is received and needs to be reversed. Each segment is 8 bits long, meaning the order of these segments needs to be reversed. For example, boom, 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 boom should become boom, 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 boom. The total number of bits will always be a multiple of 8. The data is given in an array such as this. So if you think how we would solve this, we take the input, convert it into 8-bit chunks, and then now that we have each of the 8-bit chunks, we reverse them, and we give the output. Okay, so this is going to be data reversed. Do you want to see me solve this one? data reverse. So we have bytes coming in. We need, and it comes in as a single stream. We then need to calculate the bytes, reverse them. Reverse or rotate. Given this input, we chunk it based on the input size and do some stuff. So this is going to be called reverse or rotate. And then the last one is unique Unix style. And what this says is, given a stream of characters, if you encounter duplicates of the same character, collapse them into a single one as you move along the stream. Clash of Clans? What is that? I don't know what that is. All right. Vote now. You have 1 minute to vote. Which one of these do you want me to want to see me solve? Now that I've had a second to think about each one, I'm gonna solve it in the first try. First try. One click of the attempt button and it's just gonna work. Oh, it's a mobile game, Clash of Clans? I see. I've never played it. Sounds familiar though. Don't people like advertise that in like YouTube videos and stuff? We'll do a prediction. Yeah. So I do use the test button, but we're trying to we're trying to be fun about it. Because the test button will solve it without submitting it, but I'm just so overconfident that I think it's going to work and then it doesn't work, and I don't know. But yeah, technically testing is faster because it only does the local test that you can see, whereas when you click attempt, it runs it against randomized tests, so you can't just cheat based on the input. I mean, they're all easy in their own way, depending on your experience. But here we go. We're going to do unique. And thank you, Finder the Icewing, for suggesting this one. All right. Let's enhance. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to look at the array one thing at a time. And I'm going to have my result. Does the result array need to be an array? Yeah, the result is an array. Cool. So result starts off as the empty array, and then I'm going to loop from the beginning all the way to the end. And then on each iteration, I need to keep track of what I'm currently looking at. So we'll also let's do this. So we'll have the current be the array at index 0, and we'll start the loop at array index 1. So so this is going to start off as the first thing that we see. And then I guess technically we could initialize the result to have that current value inside of it as well. We'll do a prediction right now. So actually, so we could do it one of two ways. If we do the prediction now, you're basically betting that I'm going to be able to figure this out in the first try. If we do the prediction after I've written the code, you're betting based on the code that you see. What would you rather do? I'm not going to do a poll, but just tell me in the chat. Do you want to vote after I've written the code or before I've written the code? It's probably more fun if I do it before I've written the code, because it's like, then you're just betting on me, right? After? YOLO? After. Okay, so let me write the code first then. I think most people want to be safe with their points. Some are saying before. We'll do it after. We'll do it after. Okay. So my result starts off with the first one in the array, and then we start looping from there. Now, if the current I want another variable. What do I call this? I want this like current. Let's just call this value. So value is going to be a at index I. So we don't have to have all the. This is what I was talking about with that other solution. Is I don't want to. Oh, we could call this previous. Yeah, well, I guess there's a couple ways to go about it, but basically I don't want to have a bunch of code that has a brackets I, so I'm putting it into a variable called value, so the code is easier to read. Okay, we have the value. If the value is not equal to the current, we'll set the current equal to the value, and we'll push the current in, That's it. That's all. I think we're done. So we start off at the 0th and we have the current. So let's think. Yeah, so I mean, I'm technically already reassigned. I could push value or current because I've already reassigned it at that point. And then we look at the next one. So we've got. Let's walk through the code here. Actually, here's what we can do. We can be the JavaScript engine. Let's do that. Let's be the JavaScript engine. Give me a second. I need to readjust. Spooky. I actually want to add a thing. Give me a second. Here seems fine. I also feel like I'm just wasting time, but I think I'm going to show you something that you may not have seen before in terms of being able to like debug a piece of code. This actually would be like pretty useful in a a whiteboarding interview as well. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to have a table that represents all of the variables right now. So when we start off, the only variable we know about is A. And that, can you see this? You can't see this. We'll write it with pen. Invisible pen. Now I'm writing blue on blue. Maybe you can see that, right? So let's say that A starts off as this input. And then B, we'll make it simple. So this is what A starts off as. And then let's start running the code. Where am I looking? Here. We're gonna look at the code. The first line of code executes current is equal to A at 0. So this is gonna be the string A. Great. Next line of code. We initialize result. And that is going to be an array with the current value inside of it. So that gives us an array with A inside of it, like that. All right. Now we get into the for loop. And we say I is equal to 1. And is I less than a.length? It is. Right now a.length is 3. And I is 1. So we're good. Let's actually just write that here, so we can keep track of it, because right now it's 3. Okay, so is I less than 3? Yes, it is. We go into the for loop. Value gets assigned to be the array at index I. I is 1, so value becomes A. So it's this one right here. Now, is value not equal to current? Right now, current is this, so that's false. So this if statement doesn't satisfy. because value is equal to current. So value is equal to current. So we just go around to the next iteration. So in the next iteration, we do I++. So now I becomes 2. Is 2 less than 3? Yes, it is. Now value becomes A at 2. 0, 1, 2, so it becomes B, like this. Now, is B equal to current? No, it's not. So we actually push B into the result. So now result becomes an array that has A, and then it has B. And then we go back around. I plus equals 1, it becomes 3. 3 is not less than 3. Seems like my code's gonna work, right? Right? Also, has anybody ever seen somebody walk through code like this before? This is actually really useful, especially like if you have the code written off to the side here, because then you can point to your, like, you're basically, this is like your scope table, your lookup table of all of the things that are happening as I'm walking through the code. If the code fails, this is going to be epic. It seems like it's going to work, because at that point, it's 3, and then... Wait, what's happening? My blue screen is messing up. Well, it's not gonna. It won't work with array set, because if A occurs later in the array, you still want it to show up. It's not only uniques. It is uniques that occur next to each other. I mean, there could be edge cases, right? So like, I only tested it for an array that has 2 values in it. Like if we come across A again, technically that would be in there. I think we're good. I think we've done it. If anybody knows better than me, then you can predict that I'm not going to be able to solve this. But here we go. What if there are several A's? They still show up. So if you look in the input example, A, B, B, C, and then A shows up later. The result has the removed duplicate A's, but the A's and the B's and the C's that were at the end of the array also show up. So that's why I'm not just taking all of the unique values. I have to look at it one by one. So here we go. Will it work on the next attempt? Not that one. On the next attempt, I'm going to click this attempt button, and you're going to tell me, is it going to work or not? So predict now. Empty array as input? Is that possible? If they give us an empty array, then we put undefined into the array. Listen, I'm gonna handle it here. You can't get mad if you voted no against me for little edge cases like this. Like the problem solution doesn't say anything about that. Leo says no. I'm doing it. Like, I solved the problem that they gave me. There was an edge case that tripped me. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna cancel this prediction. You get your points back. I'm gonna put this line of code because if they give us an empty array, we need to return an empty array. That's it. Okay, you get your points back. Now you can predict. There you go. Predict now. But are they going to give us an empty array? I really hope not. I guess the thing is the harder the problems get, the more types of edge cases and things that they pass in. So, you know, A is not equal to array.isArray A. What? Are they passing in things that aren't arrays? Listen, if they pass me something that's not an array, oh my goodness. Okay, here's the thing. I didn't return. I bet many people caught that I didn't return. Everyone's getting mad. Everyone's getting really mad. Nobody wanted to tell me that I didn't return my value. Yeah, so it would have broken because I didn't have a return statement. Not fair. Listen, you got your points back. This is it for real. No more code changes. Vote now. I agree it's unfair, but also I want to get one right on the first try. I haven't gotten any of them right on the first try yet. If it's an array of length 1, that'll work because it'll put it in there like this, and then the loop will not execute and it'll just return result. Trust me with 1,000? Do it. Do it. All right, now more people are voting yes. All right. First, we'll do a simple test. We'll just do test. That just passes these two. Now, attempt is going to run it through big examples and potentially will time out. Here we go. Here we go. It worked. It worked. Listen, if I forgot to return the result, is that really my fault? Is that really my fault? Yeah, I think that would work, Mark Boots. And this first solution that we're looking at here does that. So, if it's the first index, return it. If it's not the first index and the previous value is not equal to this value, return it. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Well, everybody, it was fun. And also, maybe you learned something. So if you're ever having problems with your code, you should be able to create a table like this to really walk through the code that you wrote. Now, I didn't catch that I didn't have a return statement, but I still validated that the code is working. So, all right, let's play Clash of Code. If you have not heard of this game, it's pretty cool. We're gonna do fastest mode, and you can use any programming language except for Ruby and Python. Because they cheat. They have too many built-in things. But you can use literally anything else you want, like Java, Haskell, Go, F#. Ryan the Pro, thank you for that Prime. Much appreciated. Kotlin, Lua, Objective-C, OCaml, Pascal, Perl, PHP, Rust, Scala, Swift, TypeScript, VB.NET. You can use anything except for Python and Ruby. And the only reason is these, so we're doing it in fastest mode, which means whoever solves the problem fastest. And the issue is Python includes a bunch of built-in functions, so you can just solve it without writing any code. And the same thing in Ruby. Would anybody argue on any of these other programming languages that they're like way too easy? But my Python. All right, never mind. I'll let you use either. But if you win, I have less respect for you. All right, let's pay out the prediction. Did it work on the first attempt? Yes. 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 I'm just kidding. You can use whatever language you want, but if somebody writing Python or Ruby wins, we know why. We know why. I guess you might be right, David. Like Python is also not good for shortest mode because so much is built in. But we're gonna do fastest mode. So basically, we're all gonna get dropped into a room. Up to 100 of us can be in there, and then we have 15 minutes to solve the exact same problem. So we're all given the same problem. We all have 15 minutes to solve it. So click this link. And if anyone else comes in, not set command, update command? Add command. There we go. Thank you, Mark. So up to 100 people can join the room, and it's going to start either when the room is full or with a 4-minute timer. So, and BTRSL, thank you for the resub. Appreciate that. Yeah, and thank you, Trailer Trash and Ryan, both for the brand new primes. You're new here, and I appreciate it. Thank you for using your prime on me. No ChatGPT. I mean, if you copy the problem statement into ChatGPT and it gives you back a working answer, I mean, I don't think it will though, because one of the caveats of your solution is you're not returning anything. Everything is based on console input and console logs. So whatever ChatGPT gives you, I think you'd have to adjust it in some way. Yeah. I didn't, Robert Tables. I didn't intentionally match the two, but I was picking a shirt before stream. And I was like, let's match. Let's match. My wife got me this beanie for Christmas. So people have automated coding game with ChatGPT. That's insane. That's insane. All right, I'm gonna give you 1 more minute to click that link, and then we'll get started. In the meantime, let's do something fun. In the next 1 minute, we're gonna color in Brazil in our map of Central America. Not Central America, South America. We started this last time. We colored in Argentina. I'm trying to learn all of the countries in the world. I'm trying to get better about geography. So we're doing Brazil now. It is a big country for 1 minute. I think I'm just gonna get I only got the outline. We'll fill it in our next break. The timer's not centered? I know. I just didn't want to fix it. But this is Brazil. Nice. Nice. Here we go. Everybody ready? So when I click launch, you're going to have 15 minutes to solve the problem. We don't know what the problem is yet. You can pick whatever programming language you want. Yeah. Oh, that's interesting to hear, Robert Tables. Yeah, I was trying to think about, like, what's the best way? Because, I mean, it's just the political map, right? They also have the topographical view, this one. So I could try to color it that way, but I'm not a good colorer. Yeah, I mean, and also if you don't want to cheat, then mute the stream whenever I start solving it. So here we go. I don't know if I learned any specific technique for coloring the Shibas. Okay. Left-hand side, problem description. Right-hand side, that's where you put your solution. You can select your programming language right here. You can choose anything in the list. And then down at the bottom, you can see the test cases. So if you click this button, this will show you all of the inputs and expected outputs that are going to be passed for locally when you're doing the testing. When you do a final submission, it's going to run it against other test cases that are not listed here. Let's go. Given a string representation or representing the item you are currently looking at, while dumpster diving, you must output whether to yeet or yoink the item, depending on if it's in your wish list or not. To yeet something means to discard it, and to yoink something means to keep it. So your input is going to be a comma and space-separated string, which contains the items you wish to be found. So the first line of input says, we want to keep cup, table, and TV. And then for every input, we return we log yeet or yoink if we want it. So I'm actually just going to do this. Here we go. We'll write the code. So we read in the wish list. Let's make a set out of the wish list. So it'll be a new set with wish lists split on space, comma space? Yes, space, comma space. And then if wish list has item log yoink, else log yeet. 2 Ys? Yeah. Okay. I think that's it. I think that's all we got to do. Test cases? Yeah, just submit. Just submit. That was so easy. That was so easy. Okay. Did Kobe write this problem? He might have. Can we still look at the problem description? Has he written any of these problems? But he uses the word yeet a lot, doesn't he? Yeah, so I'm gonna wait for more people to submit, and then I will look at the top 3 solutions and explain the code. But yeah, you didn't run the test. Yeah, if you run the test first, that definitely lets you know. But yeah, so a set is actually, I mean, that's a general data structure. It's not just in JavaScript. It is an abstract data type that only has unique items. It's a computer science concept, but it only has unique items. So what's nice about a set is if you pass an array into it, it automatically removes duplicates from it. Well, that's one aspect of it. And so that you see a set used a lot in JavaScript to remove duplicates. The other nice thing about a set is that once it's built, or once you've created it, it has built-in functions for does this element exist in the set? And it's a constant time operation. So this has function returns a Boolean on whether the set has it or not. But this is faster and more efficient than like array.find, because under the hood, a set is very likely some kind of like hash map. So yeah, and if you've solved it, click share my code on your screen so I can take a look at it. And what's up, Zero Turner? Welcome in. Blue screen is malfunctioning. Boop. Boop. Thank you, Timon. The yoink, yeah. I don't know, Roga, but I guess that is a potentially valid UX concern. What's up, Mordecai? Right now we're playing Clash of Code. I think if you actually go to that link, you could potentially drop in, even though some of us have already finished. But we're gonna do another one after this. Basically, we all got dropped into a room. We had 15 minutes to all solve the same problem, and you can see the solutions here. Somebody did it in VB.net. John did it in VB.net. That's pretty cool. It'll be interesting to see what languages people choose. So you got JavaScript, Python, Scala. Yeah. So that, I mean, yeah. So both a set and a map kind of behave like a hash or a dictionary, in that when you ask if a set has a thing or if a map has a thing, it's a constant time operation because of the way that it stores it internally. Wanted to use Rust, but more comfortable in Python. We're gonna take a look at the more interesting ones, because I guess, I mean, you can tell that I'm a JavaScript streamer because most of the people are solving it with JavaScript. But here, I need to put the word coding game in my stream title. It'll show up. Yeah, well, some people are using lower level languages, and I don't know. I don't think compilation would be too long. I think you'd be all right. Hey, what's up, Oscar? I was gonna say me too, but honestly, I touched some VB.net like a year or two ago, probably like a year and a half ago, because of a legacy project that we were converting at my job. I don't know if you can choose COBOL on this one. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and yeah. So coding game definitely takes some getting used to, because it's all about logging things out instead of returning. But basically, if you console log, it'll detect that. So you just log it out. Just log it out. I'm gonna go ahead and look at the solutions, and then we'll move on to another one. So Avaze did it in 1 minute and 19 seconds with Python. Let's see. So import the basic stuff. Split the wish list on a space and a comma. So this is very similar to what I did in JavaScript. So now wish list is an array. And yeah, so I turned it into a set because I wanted to have that has function. In JavaScript, you could have done a similar thing. So in Python, we say, is the thing in the array? And if it is, print yoink. If it's not, print yeet. But in JavaScript, we could have done like array.includes or array.find. But by turning it into a set, that gave me the has function. So yeah. Yeah, the thing is, like, a lot of VB.NET apps that are out there in the enterprise world were written years ago. I mean, honestly, not all of them, because some people only know VB.NET and never learned anything new, so they're building newer apps in VB.NET too. But yeah. Is it possible to read the description again? I don't know. I don't know how to get back to that problem. Yeah, I saw that. Like, it's a comma space instead of just a comma. So good job, Aves, and you got first place. Okay, so Stas did it with JavaScript. Yeah, so you can see Stas solved it almost exactly the same way as me, except they used the includes function in an array. But includes is potentially an order in operation because it has to search the whole array for that element. And in a problem like this, that's totally fine because our wish list was like just a few items long. But array.includes is going to look at every value in the array until it finds the thing that you're looking for. Set.has is constant time because under the hood it's stored as a hash. But if it includes it, print yoink. If not, yeet. And then you can see I did the same thing, except I passed the array into a set, which gave me this nice little has function. Yeah, so it was strings, but we turned those strings into arrays. So we took the string, the input line string, and split it on commas to turn it into an array. Yeah, if you leave the console log answers, that's gonna break it too. I changed nothing. Did it give you the full response? Fascinating. Fascinating. Did did you copy paste it from ChatGPT? All right, so William Cameron got 4th place. They also did it in JavaScript. Yep, same thing, but they just inlined it. So instead of storing the split in a variable, they just did it all in line. Split the array, does it include it, then yoink it. All right, John did it in VB.NET. Let's check it out. All right, we've got our main function. We read in the wish list. We read in the number of lines. For each line, we read the line in to get that item. If wish list contains items. So, oh, fascinating. You know, you didn't even have, I think you're totally right about this. You didn't even have to turn it into an array because strings include like a includes or a contains function. So basically they just kept it as a string and then does it contain the item that's currently on the row? Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I think, is there a string includes in JavaScript? Or is it contains? Perform a case-sensitive search to determine whether one string may be found in another string. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, you're totally right, Shab. We technically didn't even have to turn it into an array or a set. We could have just used this function on a string to search for it. Yeah. Cool. Good job, John, in VB.NET. Let's see if we have any other languages. Scala. So Sir Godwin did it in 4 minutes in Scala. Let's look at it. Read the wish list in, split on comma space, or any more 0 or more white space. So they accounted for if there was or was not a space. Read each line, and then if the array contains the current item, yoink, otherwise yeet. Easy. Scala looks pretty nice. I've never really done Scala before. The description was wrong. Let's see. You're right. You're totally right. Yeah. Okay. Because I already knew what yeet and yoink meant, I got it right. But you're totally right. If you read the description, it says yeet if you should keep the item and yoink if you should discard it. That's a good catch. I don't know how to suggest a fix, but that needs to be fixed for sure, because that was wrong. Yeah, that was wrong. All right, and then Izmir did it in Java. Let's look at the Java solution. A scanner is how you read in from the console. Read the line in. Replace commas with nothing. So basically, they take that wish list and just get rid of all the commas. And then they're using the index of function on a string. So is this item in that string? Yeah, I think technically you didn't have to replace the commas, but still works. Yeah. Cool. Any other languages? Oh, C#. Dinky Dolphin, if you want to share your code, we'll take a look. Buffer reader to read it in? When I did Java, I remember using a scanner. I don't remember ever using a buffer reader. Is that a newer thing? All right, let's do another one. Here we go. Oh, good job, Ismer. It's fun to see other languages that are not the ones that I use all the time. All right. Let's do another fastest mode. People are just getting warmed up. Let's just do fastest mode because people are also learning how the site works. Because for some people, the console logging can be weird. Give me a minute. My computer needs to start. You've got 5 minutes. Cool. Click that link. You'll be dropped into the lobby. We're gonna get started whenever Timon is ready. So let me know in the chat, Timon, whenever you're ready. Oh yeah, link. There you go. If you want to, Andrew, that would be useful. 20 characters in Bash. All right, let's color. Let's color our Brazil. Yeah, you have to each game is a unique link that you'll have to click to join. And this blue screen is all off. We'll technically the timer has 3 minutes, but we'll start when I'm either when the timer is done or whenever I'm done coloring Brazil. Are those all in Africa? Guyana, and Ghana? Watch that line, yeah. Slightly got out of the line. Oh, I see. There's Guyana. Guyana? Guyana. Yeah, that's my plan. Who is it? Brian? I'm gonna try to color every single continent and then fill in the name of every country as well. Nice. All right, we've got a minute and 30 seconds. I think I can do We'll do Paraguay. Paraguay is right above Argentina. Paraguay. All right, let's go. So if you're just if this is your first time using Clash of Code, when you get dropped in, on the left-hand side is the problem description. On the right-hand side is where you put your code. You'll see that it already has some setup code for you that basically like parses the inputs. You can choose your language in this dropdown. You can click this button to see example inputs and outputs. And then before clicking submit, always click play test cases because that's going to do these locally. And then when you click submit, that's going to do extra tests that you don't see there. I just got this book at Barnes & Noble. It's called Atlas of the World Coloring Book. So okay, here we go. Find the point closest to another fixed point in a list. You're given a point A, and afterwards a list of points. Find the point within the list that is closest to A and print it. If 2 points have the same distance, return the point that occurred first. The distance to use between 2 points is the Euclidean distance, so they give us the formula. For 2 points G and F, the distance is gx minus fx squared plus gy minus fy squared. You might not need the square root for this exercise. What? What? Okay, so the first line of input is the coordinates of the first point. What's up, Austin? N is the number of points, and then we have each point, and then we need to print out the one that's closest. Okay, so this gives us x0, y0, and then for each one we have x1, y1. Let's create a little function that grabs the distance. So this will take in x and y and return the distance to x0, y0. So we'll do math dot square root of x0 minus x squared plus y0 minus y squared, like this. So this gives us the distance. And then we'll have something like shortest distance is going to be 0. And closest point is just going to be itself. And then when we come across each one, we calculate the distance. So that'll be the distance with x and y. And if distance is less than the shortest distance, well, we'll say less than or equal to. We might have to fix that. Then the closest point is going to be x comma y, like that. And then when we are done, we'll just print closest point. Join on a space. Let's see if it works for the local test cases. It doesn't. Cannot access distance before... Yeah, I named 2 things the wrong thing. I'm going to call this find distance instead of distance. We're going to call this find distance. And then we'll try again. Okay, so it broke on this one. Let's look at the example input. 2. Yeah, so that's going to be the issue because I initialized this to 0 being the point itself, it fails. So let's actually do this. I'm going to do this before the for loop. I mean, this is a better way to do this, but I'm just going to do this because this is fastest mode, and I don't care. I don't care. We're just going to calculate this every time. And now that I have that, I can say the shortest distance is this. And then this is just the current distance. Cannot read properties of null. Line 24? What? Oh, if there's only one. And we need to start it at 1. There we go. But it breaks for the last one. So 0, 0, 2, -5, -5. It wants the first one. I see. So we don't want to overwrite it. So I'm just going to do less than. All right, it breaks on the last one. List of huge numbers. We found 785, -143. We expected 978, -240. I have no idea how to debug that. No idea. Are we parsing these as... Yeah, we're parsing them as integers. We're doing the find distance. That's how you raise it to the second power. Carry the 1? What? Let's see. I don't know what our edge case is. People have already solved it? I think these are people that found me on Coding Game. I don't recognize your names. You're given a point and a list of points afterwards. It's easy. I mean, I solved all of them except for, like, I don't know why. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Optimize this saving the squared distance. Do you mean, like, if I've already seen X and Y before, like cache it? Or what do you mean by that? Or by not taking the square root? Typo on line 27. Yeah, but I just added that. I don't think that's... Oh, I need to overwrite the shortest distance. I wasn't even doing that before. Crazy. Yeah. Yeah, I just didn't overwrite the shortest distance. That's all. I'm done. And I got 16th place. I think listing myself on Coding Game gets a whole lot more people to participate. Come on. If you're in the top 3, say hello in chat. I have no more water. You did it before me on mobile? Well, I had that one little error where I didn't reassign the shortest distance, which I don't know why the other... I mean, I guess the other tests pass. I don't know. What's up, Sir Godwin? Yeah, you did it with what do you call it? Scala in the last one too. Let's look at your solution. All right. We read in the input basically. This Is there a built-in distance function? No, you're writing your own distance function. Yeah, so I think this is what people were saying. So if you just take the absolute value of the subtraction rather than squaring, that's really all you need. Because you don't need the... doesn't matter if distance is negative. So this is potentially faster than squaring and finding the square root. And the She-Boss, thank you for the gift. You didn't have to do that. All right. Also, I'm trying to go with, okay, so pause. Oh, I see, it's a class. So pause is an object that has an X and a Y internal properties, and it has a method called distance. This is, I've never seen this kind of syntax before, but that makes sense. So you create an instance of a point with the initial one so that it has that distance function built into it. Because then you can just do, get the distance of that. So I think I guess what you're doing first is you're getting all of the points. You're creating a little class with each one of them into a list of points. And then for all of them, you want to find the minimum one that has the minimum distance to this. So like basically like the way that I was solving it is I was finding the distance as we were iterating. You find all the points, then you iterate to find the minimum one. And Stony, thank you for the gift to Austin. Appreciate that. Scala, I thought, is it a language that runs in the JVM, the Java Virtual Machine? Or is it all on its own? And Gordon, thank you for that sub too. Yeah. You have to square the values. You can only save the square root. But Scala's design decisions are aimed to address criticisms of Java. Scala source code can be compiled to Java bytecode and run on a Java virtual machine. Scala can also be compiled to JavaScript to run in a browser or directly to a native executable. Look at that. You got the best of all the worlds. Why don't we all just use Scala? I will admit though, this was a little bit confusing to look at. And you'll notice here, the way that we invoke a method on an object is like, I don't know if this is the standard syntax, but it's basically, so A is our instance of pause, and we are invoking the method distance by passing in the point from the array. I guess, is this more functional style? And then min by is kind of just like, find the minimum result of executing that. Fascinating. Thank you, Sir Goodwin. Second place. All right. Tomas did it in JavaScript, and they just inline the distance. Easy. It's basically how I solved it, but I forgot to reassign the distance on each iteration. And Mordecai did it in Python. Yeah, so there is no closest point. The distance is the maximum. We look at each one. If the distance is less than the closest distance, which is initialized to max, we're going to reassign that point, reassign the distance, and then after that, we get the closest point. Easy. All right, Ambrosial did it in Haskell. Are you here, Ambrosial, or are you just on Coding Game? Let's look at Haskell. All of this is read line in. And then for each line, read in the X and the Y. And then find the distance. So distance, is this like an inline function? Distance is a function. Oh, I think, like, yeah, so Ambrosial did a very similar thing like Sir Godwin did in Scala, where they put all of the points into an array of points. And then they have minimum by, which they can execute on this list of points. Compare is a built-in operator. Compare on distance. Fascinating. So it takes the point, each point in the list, and then passes it into this function. And I guess this function already had access to x0 and y0. So there's that. Fascinating. And then that gives the answer. Yeah. All right. I am Rashab did it in C++. Basically, we have our preamble, which reads everything in. We're reading in each line. Find the distance. Yeah. What's interesting, I think, about this problem is everybody basically solved it the same way, with slight differences. Either you calculated the distances as you went, or you put all of the points into a list and then calculate all of the distances to grab the minimum. It's pretty interesting. I don't think you see this as often in all of the problems that were given, but most people just solved it with the same kind of logic. Which I guess that makes sense. That's probably the only way to do it. I don't know. Let's look at TypeScript. Basically, you had to write a whole lot more code to do the JavaScript version. And you had to account for if something was undefined. I feel like TypeScript is the wrong choice for well, I mean, it's not ugly. I think it's TypeScript. It's you can't code fast because you have to account for things like undefined and all of that stuff. Where are you at, Timon? Functional TypeScript? So distance between points. Okay. Search point. Okay. And then you reassign the point. Yeah, I understand that, Ryan. I do. But I'm only making fun of it because when we're trying to solve it as fast as possible, having to deal with all of that makes your code like you can't solve it as fast. Find the distance between the points, reassign. Cool. Junkie did it. Oh, Camel. All right, we'll look at this one and then we'll do one more. My goodness. What are we looking at? I think all of this is used by the code below it. I see what they're doing. They have their own meta language. They have their own like basically they've solved so many of these coding games that they're like, these are things that I do all the time. I want to just have them. So they go to solve it, they paste it in, and then the actual code is down here. Yeah. The actual code is down here. So they probably don't even use, yeah, these are they're not even polyfills. It's basically like giving them the power of Python or Ruby inside of their OCaml. Basically ignore all of that, but if you see a function call that you don't see, it's defined up here. You can just start reading right here. So read every line of input. We get the total number of lines we need to read. We have a little distance function. Trying to see, they don't do absolute value. Do they do absolute value elsewhere? Yeah. I think in fastest mode, it's probably not cheating. I think it's like how you saw, like, it's a totally valid solution, I think, because in fastest mode, you're not limited on number of characters. So they've done so many of these coding problems that they just include all of their helper functions. Are you in the chat, Junkie? Because I'd love to hear from you, and you can confirm whether or not that's actually what you're doing. Okay, the only reason I'm staring at this is because, I was like, okay, so they're squaring it. So this is x squared, x minus x squared plus y minus y squared. And then they don't take the square root. They just remove the square root altogether. And then we've got some pipes going on. So A is going to be every line of input. If we look at RLST, this grabs all of the lines. So this is their helper function to, I think, grab every line below that. And then list.rev is going to reverse. Why would you reverse the list? And then fold left. So starting at the left, it's like a reduce from the left. Grab the highest one. And then what does PS do? Print string, print float, print end line. So PS is print string. Oh, I was like, is higher built in? Higher is here. So basically, we're reducing, and then this is our reducer function over the list. And we are returning the closest point on each iteration. So the reducer, basically the accumulator is the closest point, A, I believe. I feel like you could have OCaml that is a whole lot more readable, but they're using single letter variable names and they have so many built-in helper functions. But TFL, what does TFL do? String split on space, map it to an array, into a list of floats. Fascinating. So this takes a space separated string, like 0 space 0, and turns it into an array of 0, 0. So XA, YA are going to be the float versions of the string. Yeah, float to string. So for both A and B, we turn them into floats. We find the distance between XY. So distance is defined up here. So find the distance between both of them. Whichever has the closest distance, we return and we repeat. Wow, fascinating. This also is this is the pipe operator. So it's piping the list into a reverse and then into a reduce and then into a print. And you could think of each line as using the output of the previous one. All right, we'll look at C# and then we'll move on because I don't think we looked at a C#. Amara? Oh wait, did we? I think we already looked at this. No, we didn't. What did we look at? We didn't look at this one though. So you defined your own little class with X and Y. Very good, very good. You read in the X and Y and create an instance of that class. So that's the A. We're going to calculate the distance to A for everything. And then for every line, we create a point. And this gives us the number of lines. So you're creating an array of that length after we read it in. And then read in the input, split on a space, create an instance of a point. So create an array of all of your point classes which have X and Y. Beautiful. And then after that, calculate the distance. So initialize the distance, the minimum distance to be the maximum integer, and then go from there. I think this is the one place where I did things slightly different than everyone else, where instead of initializing to max value, I initialize it to the first. It's like, obviously this code is repetitive because I copy pasted it here and here, but instead of initializing it to max value, I initialize it to the first distance we need to calculate, and then I loop for 1 after that. So that's the thing. Yeah, and then we just have the inline distance function that doesn't do the square root. Yeah, you could use infinity, max value. I don't like doing that. A lot of times I try to reach for like doing the calculation first instead of having to do a max value. Cool. All right, let's do another one. Yeah, and so piping you see a lot in functional programming languages. So did we see any pipes in Haskell? No, they did it all like that. But yeah. Good call. Yeah, yeah. So you're totally right. My solution would not account for an empty list. I would have to add a check here if the list was empty. Yeah. All right. Do I also solve these? I haven't done one of these before. Are we all trying to program a bot to like win? Is that what's happening? The puzzle game starts with a step-by-step tutorial that will help you get familiar with Coding Game's multiplayer game. It provides an easy introduction to bot programming through a starship race. Beat the boss of each level. Let's do this in a little bit. What I want to do now is shortest mode. So you can take as long as you want to solve it, but the winner is the one that does it in the least number of characters. And for this, you can only use JavaScript. Just to put everyone on a level playing field, because if people were to choose Ruby or Python, it could be a lot shorter than JavaScript. Yeah, you have to use JavaScript. You have to. Because I know all the JavaScript tricks. You could run it through a minifier, but I think I can minify it more than even a minifier. Allow TypeScript. Here's the thing. I'll allow TypeScript, but I don't know how their runner works. Does it always run it through the TypeScript compiler first with like strict checking? What is the prediction? Top 5 next coding game? Okay. So we have to take into account that it has to be JavaScript and the fact that people are watching me on codinggame.com. So I think that last round, there were people playing that aren't even watching on Twitch. And they're really good because they're on the site all the time. So yeah, I can minify it more than a minifier. Yeah. In just a second, I haven't started it yet because I'm going to wait for this prediction to run. But if you think I will get top 5, vote now. But like I said, you have all 15 minutes to get shortest one. So it doesn't matter who solves it the fastest. If a person submits it at 14 minutes and 59 seconds and it has the least number of characters, they're going to win. Is it ethical to swing a vote? You can do what you want. Yeah, so because I have Coding Game in the title of my stream, they list me on their website, which is fine. I think it's getting more people to discover me. But I think it's also getting more people to join in that are really good at this because they're like competitive programmers. I don't think I'd consider myself a competitive programmer. I'm okay at it, but I don't do it often enough. Like, I mean, this is the first time I've solved problems like this in months. So oh, that's unfortunate, Stony. People really think I'm gonna be in the top 5. 140k riding on me? Oh man, I mean, I guess that's really, it's on you if you lose it all. You're the one that gambled it. I don't know. You could put a TS no check at the top, but that's several extra characters with just that. Not yet. I'm waiting for the prediction to end before we start it. I guess technically, you can start joining now. On YouTube, Andrew? What do you mean? But yeah, click the link. We are playing shortest mode. You can only use JavaScript or TypeScript. So. Yes. Oh, for 200k? You're already a mod. Oh yeah, sorry. TypeScript. There's no way TypeScript could be shorter than if TypeScript wins, it's just JavaScript. It's not TypeScript. Yeah, Junkie can't participate because oh, Junkie's here, so Junkie's gonna try JavaScript. Yeah, there are. I will say, Nick, there are red chats in my overlay. Yes, yes. Oh no, everyone's in one group. It doesn't matter what you use. We're all in the same group. That's why I excluded Ruby and Python. Um, yeah. The thing is, you can change your chosen language in the middle of a clash. All right, let's go. Here we go. All right, just some quick tips if you've never done shortest mode. Don't use const var arlet. Don't have any comments. Don't put spaces between your equal signs. Don't use semicolons. Keep it as short as possible. And then on the bottom right, you can see the current code size. So right now I have 22 characters. Let's go from here. So given an integer in, you had to determine its double factorial. The double factorial of a number is given by n times n minus 2 times n minus 4, etc. Multiplication goes until 1 or 2 depending on whether it's even or not. So double factorial of 4 is 4 times 2 times 0? Yeah, 4 times 2. Okay. And then the double factorial of 11 would be 11 times... Wait, we subtract 2, 4, 6, 8? Is that what we do? Okay. We should be able to do this with a reduce. Or not. Let's just solve it, and then we'll shorten our answer after we solve it. Because I need to iterate from in down to 0. So while in is greater than 0. And then I also need the sum. The total. And the total is going to be multiplied by n. And then we subtract 2. And then we print in. Is that it? Found 0, expected 8. Oh, print t. If you click submit, I don't think you can edit your code. I think technically I don't need curly braces right here. But I'm still getting 0. I did say I was going to solve it. Well, while in is greater than 0. Oh, yeah, good call. It has to start at 1. Good call. Okay. All right. Which means I think I can do this. Got it in 54 characters. Can I make it any smaller? Hmm. Okay. Yeah, Martin. I think that's the tricky thing about Clash of Code and coding game is um, the difficulty varies wildly, and there's no difficulty selector. Um, but there is a CSS battle. I think that's a website. Yeah, they give you like things that you need to like they give you an image that you need to recreate. We could do this one day. I think today we're gonna focus on programming, but it would be fun to do some CSS battles. All right. I don't think I need to parse it. Great. Um, yeah, I don't need to parse it at all. JavaScript just coerces it with the times equal and the minus equal. Um, I mean, I think technically, yeah, that breaks if I do a comma instead of a semicolon. Is that? Yeah, I mean, if I wanted to do it like that, I could do it in one line, but the semicolon is treated as the same number of characters as a new line. So that's the same number of characters. I think there's got to be a better way um, to do this while loop. Yeah, I don't know why it hangs up on the longer one. I guess we do want while n is greater than 0. Because, yeah, it could be. Um, we do while true. Then we need a break. This person did it in 40 characters, and also Purple Dre did it in 43 characters. So there's got to be a simpler way. I will say for anybody that is listening right now, print is shorter than console.log, so you can do print instead of console.log. Wait, can you do log? No. Yeah. So print is a nice little shorthand. Um. Oh, put it all into a for loop. That's a good. That's a good. Let's do that. I won't copy your code, but I'll try to do it myself. Um, so while n is greater than 0, um, is that the same number of characters? It's the same number of characters for a for loop. Um, mm, I got rid of your question. I mean, I got rid of your suggestion, and now I don't actually know what I need to do. This would save us one character, like this. So now we're down to 43. Um, I don't think we could have done the same thing with a while loop. What's the behavior for just a raw variable on a new line? What do you mean by that? Like if I just did that? says J is not defined. Would that work? I was just thinking about that. Like, if I do in minus 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 minus, then it will access it before and is that even any shorter? That's longer. Use prefix operators to decrement I and to multiply R by I in each iteration of the loop. And we're up to 44 though. Let's go back to where we were. Um, $44. We have 4 minutes left. Yeah, multiple people. Hey, Coding Garden. Who is this? Coding Garden #1 fan? They did it in 40 characters. I too want to do it in. Is that the way to do it? I mean, if this gets me the solution. Okay. Well, if we do in minus minus, then we just do in minus minus. That should work, right? Yeah. Okay. So we're closer, but we're still at 44 characters. And then, yeah, I think that's what we got to do. And that gets us to 40. Okay. I feel like I cheated. Well, that didn't work. Minus minus n. Minus minus n. There. Oof. Oof. Two minutes left. Wasn't I at 4? Okay, maybe I was at 43 before. Okay. Yeah, I was at 43. Okay, so I should stay there. Minus minus in is greater than 1? Oof. Yeah, because when it's equal to 1, we actually don't need to multiply it. So the way that this executes is it first does the check. And then it does this. Right? Or no, it increments first. So it does this, then it does this. Which means good evening, Shogun. Welcome in. First it does the check, then it goes oof. I only have a minute left. I can't get any less than 43. Okay, here's the thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. T equals in. So first of all, let me just copy that so I can snipe it in 41 seconds. If we set it equal to in, then yeah, I don't know how to do it after that. In equals readline. I guess I just have to submit it because I'm out of time. In equals readline of t minus 1 is greater than 0. Yeah, we already tried this. The 4 minus minuses aren't valid syntax. 9th place. Who is this person? Are they real? Bracket period. Are you in the chat? Who are you? Are you a bot? Let's see how they did it. no one did it in TypeScript. Okay. I honestly don't actually know what's going on here. So X is our total. It's our accumulator. I mean, I'm not saying French people are bots. I'm saying this person solved it in 4 minutes in 40 characters. Come on. So they initialized the total. Yeah, okay. So by initializing the total to in, which is what someone was telling me to do a second ago, now you can do in is greater than or equal to 2 because you don't want to do it when it's 1. I don't think that's right. I don't think I explained that right. But then on each iteration, I've never seen this before. So we do in minus equals 2 and assign that to x times equals that. Could I have changed my code to do that? T minus equals in, like, I could have saved 2 characters if I would have done that. So let's just implement readline really quick. This returns, for instance, 11. What? Oh, it printed. Printed the page. So that's what happens when you do print not on coding game. 10395. Okay. Do we get the same answer if I do this? We don't. But if I do this, we don't. Oh well, I actually can't explain explain how this is working. Start T at in. Oh, that's the other thing. Okay. Yeah. This would have worked greater than or equal to 1 too, wouldn't it have? Yeah. So that actually didn't matter. Okay, this was the one piece I didn't actually think about doing, which would have saved us 2 characters, which is we're doing the in minus equals 2 within the assignment of t. So if I go back to my original solution, yeah. Well, here's, and I guess I haven't even mentioned this. Do not write code like this. And also, if you write code like this, it's a practice skill because there's a lot of little tricks in here that you don't use in your day-to-day of JavaScript. Like the comma operator, my linter literally says do not use the comma operator anywhere because it has like potentially ambiguous behavior. Also, a variable assignment inside of a function invocation, you would never do that. So I think like you can learn from this because there's lots of like interesting little JavaScript tricks, but you would never write code like this in the real world. Again, it's printing the page. All right, so that was my solution. And if I do this, my solution breaks unless I assign t to be in at the beginning. And thank you for the resub, Razor1. But then in is not defined. So okay. Basically, I'm no good at this. All right, let's see how Coding Garden #1 fan did it. Why did you even put this into a lambda? Like, why'd you put this into a function? Oh, because it's a recursive solution. Coding Garden #1 fan, I think you could have gotten 39 characters. I'm pretty sure it counts new lines as characters. You could have gotten 39. Pretty sure. I'm pretty sure. Okay, never mind. It didn't count the new lines. Is this you, BTRSL? Are you Coding Garden #1 fan? Shorter than 40? Okay. Okay, so basically we have a recursive implementation here. So take in the current value, which is going to be the first value that we read in. So the initial value, like in this case, 11. So is 11 less than 2? No, it's not. So return 1 times itself with 11 minus 2. Wait, what? Wouldn't this be the opposite? D:1 instead of 1:D? Honestly, I don't want to look at this anymore. this is making me mad. Let's look at a few more solutions. Cool. That makes sense. All right, how did Drunky do it? In minus minus. If it's less than 2, you would want to multiply by 1 and stop the recursion. I see. So that's the base case that stops the recursion, and then when the call stack goes back up, you have the original value. That's basically what I couldn't wrap my mind around. Because it's this times that. Yeah. Can you put the function inside the call to read line? Yes, but you'd have to invoke it. Let's see if that's less characters, because this could have done it. We need to define read line with 11. So right now, again, it prints. Well, let's do this. Leaked. Cool. So that's the right answer, 10395. But if we take this and we put it inside, because do I need to wrap this in parentheses? Yeah. This is shorter than anyone's solution, I'm pretty sure. "38 characters!" Who suggested that? Corba suggested that. Corva got the 38 character one. Yeah, let's just confirm that. Let's get everything out of scope. So if we do, we need to define print and we need to define read line. And then does the solution... Oh no, okay, never mind. Doesn't work. It doesn't work. Because f, like the recursive function needs to be in scope to call itself. Yeah, f was still in scope. Never mind. Doesn't work. Because right here, it needs to call itself. That makes sense. Okay, it was still fun to look at. All right. What should we do next? Should we do another should we do like Clash of Code reverse mode, or do you want to see me solve some katas? What? Reverse is interesting because it's basically fastest mode, but you're not given a problem statement. You're only given inputs and outputs, and you need to figure out what code to write. Solve a kata. Vote now. I'm gonna go run to the restroom. Vote now. Vote now. So when I defined read line, okay, we're gonna do reverse mode, but check it. I literally just made it return 11. So you don't really get a read line in JavaScript because you would need like a file to read from or input to read from. So I just assumed that the input was 11. That's all I did. All right. Here we go. Let's do reverse mode. And you can solve this in any programming language you want. Anything. And this, like I said, this is basically fastest mode. So the first person to solve it in the shortest amount of time is the winner. But there's no problem statement. You only see inputs and outputs, and you have to figure out what code to write based on that. Here we go. I don't have to select the like. Oh, I mean, okay. So click that to join. While people are joining, I'm going to color another country on my map. We'll do Uruguay, which is right there. And I'm learning something because I didn't know Paraguay was there, and I didn't know Uruguay was there. Of South America, I only know Chile, Argentina, and Brazil. All of the others, I don't know where they are. But now I do. Uruguay. This is a map of South America. That's a nice orange. And Bolivia is not in Europe. Where's Bolivia? If you remember Colombia over here, yeah, I don't know about all that. But this is Uruguay. We'll label it. Uruguay. Cool. Also, I've been working on my my tag. See how quick I can do it. That's me. What's up, Alexis? Welcome in. W3CJ. I didn't complete the cactus. We only did. I'll show you all that in just a second. Where did South America go? There it is. Oh, W3CJ. W3CJ. But I have like various activities to do during breaks, but we started doing paint by sticker, where you have like this, and then you have a bunch of stickers that you have to put on there. But as you can see, I am not good at it. They're very off. So I'm gonna order some tweezers, something to work with these smaller stickers, because it was bad even with these large stickers. I have no idea how it's gonna be with these down here. So oh yeah, I'm doing good. We're about to clash. Here we go. Right here, right now. So this is reverse mode, but it's also fastest mode. So first one to solve it wins the game. Okay. Input. Major. Oh, it's semantic versioning. They give us a thing, and we need to return what it is. So we have major, minor, and patch, and that's going to be splitting the input on a period. And major, minor, patch, and we want to return oh no, we need to patch it based on what it is. We'll just switch. Well, the output is going to be an array with major, minor, patch, and we'll switch on the what we want to do. And in the case of major, we'll do major plus equals 1. Break. Is that how a switch statement works? Major, minor, patch. And then we need to print major, minor output joined on periods. Plus would work. This isn't shortest mode, though. We just need to get it right. Opal? I see the issue. I have to actually parse this. As a number. There you go. That's it. No, I didn't get 100%. I should have let it complete. Dang it! I thought I was gonna get it. 2.1.2 major should not equal 3.1.2, shouldn't it? Or it bumps it to 3.0.0. That's way too complicated. Well, I mean, yeah, you're right. And I guess obviously you're right, because that's what the code said to do. Josh did it in 1 minute and 30 seconds in Python. My goodness. I did Jono codes, and I do that all the time. Push to prod without running the test. I like to live dangerously, but everyone should click that link, drop a follow. Thanks for hanging out, Jono. This is why everyone gets semantic versioning wrong. Yeah, I can't even figure it out. All right, let's do another one. I'm mad about that. But we'll look at the top 3 solutions. So Josh did it in Python. turn that input into a number. Yeah, so v is the input split on periods. So now you have an array of major, minor, patch. Put that into a list of integers. So now it's major, minor, patch as numbers. If we're doing a major patch, then set, yeah, this is the logic we were missing. But yeah, so increase the major, set the other two to 0. If it's a minor patch, increase. Oh, I guess that, yeah, I didn't even think about that, but that makes sense too, because if it's a minor patch, then you need to set, if it's a minor bump, then you need to set the patch to 0. And if it's a patch bump, you just increment the patch. That makes sense. All right, how do we do it in JavaScript? Increment the major, set minor and patch. Increment the minor, set patch, increment the patch. That makes sense. Purple Dre did it in Rust. Let's look at this. It's a lot of code, but we get to right here where we split on period, turn it into numbers. I don't know Rust, but unwrap, collect. There's a lot going on here, but ultimately we get a list of numbers, major, minor, patch. And then this is cool. This is pattern matching. That's nice. So this is kind of like a nicer switch statement because we're matching on the input, which is major, minor, or patch. And then if to increment gives us what we need to increment, either the major, the minor, or the patch. And then, oh, I see how I was like, how are you going to set the other two to 0? But if to increment is 1, then the one after it gets set to 0. If it's 2, nothing gets set to 0. If it's 0, then both of them after it gets set to 0. So increment the one that we need to increment, and then every one after that gets set to 0. That's a cool solution. Good job, Purple Dre. Junkie did it in OCaml again, without all the helper functions. OCaml has pattern matching too. Fascinating. If major, increment the major, set the other two to 0, and that gives us XYZ. Fascinating. All right, let's do it again. So the thing is, Rust is a very safe language, so you have to implement unimplemented. If you don't, then I don't think the code would compile. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure you have to. Again. Heavily infused by ML? Machine learning? What is ML? It literally just called ML. Meta language. General purpose functional programming language. Rust has functional influences? Huh. All right, we're going to do it again. Reverse mode. Here we go. You can use any language you want. I've never actually heard of ML. What are we waiting for, Timon? So I have to go in 20 minutes. So this will potentially be the last one. We'll do one more Clash of Code, and then I'm going to get out of here. Maybe we'll do one more coding. I think people like coding game more than katas, so we'll probably just be doing Clash of Code. For the next 30 seconds, I'm going to pick another country in South America to color. Bolivia. Oh, is that what you were pointing at? Bolivia is not in Europe. Bolivia is in South America. I guess I want a darker green. I have not done an IRL stream because it has been cold. It is currently 17 degrees Fahrenheit, if anybody wants to convert that to Celsius. Basically, this has been the coldest winter in Denver, Colorado in, I think, like over 10 years. But basically, I'm gonna go doing like walking IRL streams again whenever it warms up. -8 Celsius. So is what it is right now. I mean, it hasn't been that cold all the time, but it hasn't really gotten above, for the most part, 40 degrees. A couple of days it got up to like 55, but yeah. Nice to sneak stir. I guess it depends. I mean, if you're going to be going to the mountains, then you probably won't be spending much time in Denver anyways. And I honestly haven't been to the mountains in years. Basically, the stuff got real busy. The interstate I-70 is packed. The ski lines are packed, so I haven't been snowboarding in since probably like a year before the pandemic. But I like, if you're gonna be in Denver, I like Denver Beer Co. That's probably one of my favorite breweries here in town, and it's in part of town called Lower Downtown. Lots of little shops and restaurants. Nice little park to walk around in. Definitely check that out. But yeah, I like Denver Beer Co. And are there any others? I like IPAs, and they have the Incredible Pedal IPA, and it's basically like the best IPA ever. I don't think I've ever had a better IPA. I mean, I like Lagunitas IPA, but you have to be in a special mood to have a Lagunitas IPA. I don't know. I've been in Denver for like a little over 6 years. Oh, well, the yeah, Casa Bonita, I don't think it's open yet. But they've been remodeling it. But yeah, the South Park guys bought Casa Bonita. And they've been working on it. And it's not open yet. The original plan was late 2022. Jeez, it cost them $12 million to renovate? Dang. Sure, RMZ, are you based in Denver, or do you mean like you wanna watch? you wanna go on a walk? I think you say good thing they're very rich. I think this is gonna be their last project ever. Like, they did not know it was gonna cost this much money to renovate the restaurant. So yeah, I don't think that's open yet. All right, here we go. Is the tattered cover in Lodo still there? No. They moved to McGregor Square, if you know where that is. Okay. Given an input, we get this output. It's not the reverse, though. Oh, I see. Huh. Given an input string that contains 2 different characters, return the output with those switched. I think that's what we need to do. I have not hit the bell at Federales, no. Josh is already done in Python. I think that's what we need to do. Yeah, okay, so we need to we need to grab the unique things in the input. So this will give us a set of the 2 valid values. Yeah, there's only 2 types, but I still want to find them. So the set would remove all of duplicates and give me the uniques. And then let's just call it A and B, and then we'll split valid into an array. So now we have an array of just A and B. And then we want our map, which is going to be A becomes B, and B becomes A. And then now we can take the input string, split it on a space, map it, where we have each input, and we return the map at that input. And then we join it back all together on a space. What? Nothing? Found nothing? I used map right here. Mapping. Why am I printing nothing out, though? I guess I'm just gonna debug all of this. So what is A and B? They're literally A and B. And then what is our mapping? Oh, I need to compute it like this. Oh, all right. I'm gonna click submit without even checking. Yes. Done. Yeah, I got it. That's the first time I've been able to do that today. I did it. All right, let's see how Josh did it. I got lucky. I didn't get lucky. I debugged and I solved the problem. All right, for every character, so basically we need to figure out what the two unique values are, and they did that by iterating over the string and assigning them if we hadn't seen it yet. Yeah, there's a lot of ways to do it. I put it into a set to give me the two unique values, but basically find the two unique values and then iterate over the string and replace it with the other value. Yeah. So I needed the brackets because I needed a computed property. So basically I needed to create an object where the property capital A has the value capital B, and the property capital V has the value capital A. So, but that's the case where the unique values are A and B. If the unique values were V and W, I would need a mapping object where the property is V and the value is W, and the property is W and the value is V. So this bracket here takes the value of that variable and makes it the property. Because before I just had A and B as the property. But what that allows me to do is to reach in and get the opposite of the other in that object. Let's see what else. So Bambi Capello did it in Haskell. Nub. Is nub the Haskell way of removing all the duplicates? What does nub do? The nub function removes duplicate elements from a list. Fascinating. So remove duplicates, we get the two unique ones. And then, yeah, easy. So then iterate, and if the current thing is equal to that one, then make it the other one. And if it doesn't equal that one, make it the other one. Ken Pafu, are you the one that did this solution? Potes did Python. Yeah, I mean, almost an exact replica of Josh's solution. Varga did C#. Let's take a look. Nice. Yeah, so in C#, we have this distinct function. So that's going to give us the unique values, turn it into a list. And then nub. So now that we have the list of distinct characters, we're going to iterate over the input. If the current character is the first distinct character, make it the other one. Otherwise, make it the opposite. Cool. All right, Purple Dre did it in Rust again. We wanted to get the unique characters. So get the characters from S. S is the input string. Collect into an iterable. But what makes it unique? Is it because we use B-tree set? Any Rust people in the chat? What makes this collect unique? It's hard when you're fighting against chat chiefs. It is the B-tree set. Let's look at it. Creates an iterator that visits all elements in ascending order and uses a closure to determine if an element should be removed. Oh, you're saying that summary was not helpful? An ordered set based on a B-tree. Oh, I guess I don't know what a B-tree is. And I guess a B-tree only has unique values? A B-tree is a self-balancing tree data structure that maintains sorted data and allows searches, sequential access, and iteration insertions. Not to be confused with binary tree. A B-tree. It's a set. Okay, I've literally never heard of a B-tree, but yeah, okay, it's a set. And basically by collecting it into that, we get uniques. I'm gonna go with that's the explanation of that line of code. Then we're making sure that there's only 2 unique characters. I'm curious if Rust made Purple Dre do this, or they just decided to do it. But basically, all inputs only had 2 unique characters as far as we could see. And then our output string is going to be the same length as the input string, but for every character in the input string, if it's equal to the first unique character, set it to the other one, otherwise set it to that. Was it required? Okay. I think they're just really used to being very safe in Rust. Just like, there should only be 2. Cool. Jay-Z did it in PHP. Let's see. Array count values. What does this do? Counts all the values of an array as keys and their frequency in an array as values. Cool, so that's going to give you back an array that only has the unique ones with the counts of each. That's slick. That's built in. That's awesome. So this is literally an array of length 2 with the 2 unique values in it. And then we can just do the same thing as everyone else. If the current one, if the current letter is the first one, make it the second one. Otherwise, make it the first one. PHP is beautiful. I mean, I think a lot of people would not agree with you. But that is cool that is built in. And you saw my solution. I was all over the place. Make it a set. Get those values out of the set. Create a mapping of A to B. Split the string into an array, and then map it so that each value becomes the other value. Join it back together on a string. I took a lot of extra steps. I think technically I could have stopped here and then just done the iteration and the replacing, but I did want to create like a little map from one to the other. Cool. All right, we'll look at OCaml and then we'll be done. I've never seen a pipe in line like this. I guess the new lines of a pipe are just a stylistic choice, or read from standard input, turn it into a sequence, and we want that as a list. Give me the unique ones. That gives us back A and B. So this is kind of like destructuring. And then for every character in S, if the character is the first one, make it the second one, otherwise the first one. Fascinating. This little line of code here is pretty interesting because S is the input, and we're iterating it and passing a function. Oh, this whole thing is like one line of code. Wait. How is this able to do the output? There's no, the only print here, like this is all, oh, I see. This is just putting one character at a time to the console. That's the thing. Fascinating. All right, I got to get out of here. Thanks everybody for hanging out. This was super fun. I think we're gonna have to do this more often. We used to do this all the time, but I think after a while it gets old, especially when the clash of codes get really hard. I get pretty frustrated, but we'll do this again. This was fun. I really enjoy looking at all of the other programming languages and seeing people's solutions and stuff like that. So awesome. All right, let's get out of here. Check out the schedule. I'm going to be live again on Friday working on listed. So if you look at the schedule, you'll see that. Definitely go check me out on... Oh, there's too much stuff happening. Check me out on YouTube. I have a main channel and an archive channel. And also follow me on Twitter and join the Discord. If you have questions and stuff, and try to answer them in the Discord. Wait, what is tomorrow? Did I say I was doing something tomorrow? Yeah, no stream tomorrow. Maybe a supporters only stream. So if you are a supporter of the stream, in terms like if Patreon, YouTube member, Twitch sub, if you join the Discord, there's a supporters only channel, and I might go live for supporters only. One of the things I want to work on right now is allowing GitHub sponsors to join the supporters only channel, because right now I don't believe there's any direct integration with Discord. So I might work on a thing where you can go to a web page, link your GitHub and your Discord account, and then that will give you access to the supporters only channel for anybody that is a supporter over on GitHub. That's what I'm gonna do. Okay, let's get out of here. Here are the raid messages. If you are a sub, you can use that raid message. If you're not a sub, you can use this raid message. Basically, I'm going to make it so that GitHub sponsors can access the supporters only channel on Discord without needing to be a Twitch sub or a patron or a YouTube member. Is that what you were asking, Nick? That's what I mentioned. All right. Thank you everyone for hanging out. Again, this was super fun. We'll have to do it again soon. And wherever you are in the world, have a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, or night. And until next time, here's this.
That's huge.